Yeah, I just want to have you a close-up of you on the video camera. Okay, thanks. So I think, so are you ready? Okay. Yeah, I show you.
No one wants to hear me now, so I give the word to you. Thanks for coming.
Okay, great.
One thing, sorry. Yeah. Mark is here today, this evening, and tomorrow, when wir Studio-Visits machen. Und es gibt schon eine Liste, wo viele Leute sich eingetragen haben, aber es gibt mindestens noch eine Möglichkeit, um 10 Uhr. Aber das kann man ja, macht das nachher. Das ist nicht hier. I just wanted to say that you're here for studio-visits. So, very welcome.
Hello. Sorry this is taking so long. Blame it on British traffic controllers. I'm going to start with just reading a text out. This is kind of an old text that I wrote when I made the first video, which you're going to see shortly after, which is called Theorucci Maybe Hardcore. I'm reading this text out because it's basically a kind of it kind of underpins the work I've made since Theorucci and Theorucci itself. And it's basically about the Casuals, which was this strange kind of British youth cult for the early 80s that I was a casual when I was a small kid. So I'll just read this out. Hopefully it's self-explanatory. If I speak too quickly or my accent's too strong, just let me know. Okay. There are not many images available from the history of the Casuals. If you know what you're looking for, you can see them in videos of crowd disturbances at British football matches of the late 70s and early 80s. At the time, the only people who recognised them as a cult were the police. They believed that the casual style was a ruse to disguise themselves and not be recognised as hooligans at the match. This was in some ways true. The casual's fashion was a guise, a means of seduction and guile. The police's fear of infiltration was exactly the effect that the casuals wished to create. Casuals dressed in luxurious sportswear, such as Elise, Cerruti, Head and Lacoste, and expensive golfwear like Pringle and Lyle & Scott, in powder blue, lemon and pink pastels with diamond patterned sweaters. Gathered together dressed like New England preppies displaced at the British football ground, their intention wasn't to blend in, but to disrupt and confuse. Their style was designed to dazzle, both with its luxury and its displacement, and in the glare, the casuals could move freely and unhindered, like modern shoplifting. To enable this shock of the new to remain powerful, casual fashion moved quickly, updating itself weekly. After the sportswear came the country look, barber jackets, tweed caps and deerstalkers. This was followed by a clever feint with a downturn to scruffy corduroy jackets, button-down bed shirts and battered brogues, going at once academic and middle class. By the mid-80s, the police had set up the Football Intelligence Unit, a special force dedicated to classifying and documenting troublemakers at the match. The police had a special van, the hula van, that would drive through the crowds photographing possible top boys and crews. Through piecing together this evidence, as well as exclusive undercover operations, they began to identify and finally dismantle the strategies of the casuals. Within the police archives, then, is testimony to a visually literate movement with a highly sophisticated understanding of the late 20th century. So that's the casuals, or that's my take on the casuals anyway. And like I say, it's kind of, everything I've made since then has kind of been underpinned by that kind of idea of kind of subterfuge, I guess detorment's the best way to describe it. It's a really clumsy expression, I don't like it, the kind of situationist idea of like detorment or kind of switching kind of signs already in culture. And the idea of like trying to maintain your visibility while being invisible to forces that you don't wish to be recognised by. So I'm going to start with Theorucci, which he made in 1999, and it's basically about a kind of underground dance culture that existed in Britain from the 1970s through till well, the end of the last century, basically. And it hasn't replaced itself since, so it's kind of, I think it's come to an end. It's kind of realised itself and kind of come to an end. I'm going to show Fiorucci, and I'm going to show We're Untitled, which is the video made after that, and I'm going to show the last film I made, which is called Parade. And basically, I'm showing them in succession because I see it as a kind of trilogy, and I'll explain that after I've shown them to you. They're each about 10 minutes long, so we're just going to sit through that and watch them. So I'm going to put it on a DVD first. It looks a bit strange.
I can't.
Is the video signals going through as well or something?
I don't know, because we checked it before, it worked. It's the channel for the DVD. Sorry.
You think it's what you think I bought a DVD? There's a DVD.
Yeah.
I think it's something. I think there's double signals or something, isn't it? It looks like there's a signal still coming through from the VHS. Do you want to try just unplug in the video and see if that makes any difference?
Which one is it?
This is DVD, I think.
Yeah.
I think the video signals.
It's a part of it.
Huh?
It's a part
It's a
of it.
PAL, yeah. They played all that before, didn't they?
Yeah, but really didn't work. Sorry, but I try out the
Okay.
selections that I have here.
There you go, that's getting in.
Sie einfach mal den VHS-Stecker, was? Den VHS-Stecker rausziehen.
Yeah.
There you go. There's stuff on the top. We got the sound as well, wasn't there? There wasn't any sound.
This might be, then I have to turn off the... Can you start it again?
Yeah. Takes a while to build up. There you go. A bit louder. That's okay.
Los, Witzes, Resident, FU, Unique, Lee, George, Eurigi, Dean, Sam, Jake, Dream Traffic, Zells, Parsnills, Dan Smith, Theodore, Few Argentina States, Park, Kings, Hills, Farris, Passenger, Fredberg, Green, Baron Scott, Lonsdale, Cost, Bilder, Head, Kappa, Elisi, St. George's, Saruti, Burberry, and Active Street.
So that's the end of that. That was that's Fiorucci Maybe Hardcore, which is from 1999. And it's looking at it now, it's like a real exercise in nostalgia, kind of real and imagined. It's all found footage, and everything there is just, I just kind of collected through a lot of fan sites on the internet. And there was something about the kind of exclusivity of finding certain footage. I found myself, I better stop it. Yeah, I found myself at this real drive to find this kind of, this one particular piece of footage that kind of encapsulates everything, every kind of sensation, every kind of desire. I had to remember that thing and the things that I couldn't remember. I mean, a lot of that stuff's from before I was born, or when I was very young anyway. Not before I was born, I'm talking about. When I was very young, I didn't participate in it. But there was still this kind of like weird noises going on. There was this kind of need to kind of engage in that, in those kind of in that time, in that image, and how it was kind of like how it was kind of memorising these kind of images. Anyway, I'll come back to that and to do all the talk in between. So after that, I made a video called Untitled, which is all shot. I shot this myself. That's all found footage. This is all shot by myself, and it's friends and neighbours in my flat. I live in Soho in London. Or can you hear me better? I live in Soho in London, which is kind of which is sort of in the old kind of West End, the old central part of London, that is kind of getting moved away from it now. So it's slightly kind of abandoned. But basically, it's like Oxford Street. I live around by there, and I live in this old kind of Georgian flat, and a lot of the work I've made since has been based around my flat. And this is the first time that I used it. So these are friends and a couple of actors in a flat, and this is called We're Untitled between 2000. I'm going to try and skip a little bit at the beginning because it's got really long and slow build Is that working?
Are you winding or?
No, it's just on play now. No? Right? It's got that same thing again. That's weird. That's it. Sorry. It's because I got here so late, we didn't have a chance to test all the DVDs and the hopefully you will come drag enough to body to watch. This is what you do, this is what you do. Alright, that's it. I'll fast forward too much.
this is what you do. This is what you do. You make me wanna live, wanna live. It's another relationship with you, and it's nothing new. Think about it, and all the things that come along with me. Before anything.
So that's the end of that. I made that, like I say, I made that after a few years. It's the one I have the most problem with, but it kind of makes sense in terms of what I show.
This is what you do.
I forget that's what you do.
This is what you do.
It kind of makes sense now when I watch it with this third film on the show. But the idea there was to kind of, I just wanted to kind of document a particular kind of period. And I wanted it to kind of, I wanted it to date. I wanted it to look kind of, I wanted it to get to a point where it looked kind of stupid and really kind of ridiculous. And then hopefully it kind of go through these kind of, you know, transitions of fashion that are going to come back to looking kind of like interesting again. But now I think that's a kind of stupid idea. But there was something in that about kind of like the sort of transformation. I mean, they're like these really exaggerated idea of, or an ideal of what I was doing at that particular time, the people I knew, and the idea idea of kind of transforming where I lived into something more kind of, you know, epic or more like a club or something like that, and just kind of that transformation is what I was kind of interested in. Anyway, I'll show you. So this is the last one, Parade, which I made last year, end of last year, and this is like the third of these three, and I'll talk some more about them. And there's something about this which is kind of like I started off talking about the kind of idea of like that nostalgia, about kind of sort of real and imagined nostalgia, and also that idea of kind of sort of subterfuge of like the casual text, talking about like brands and being able to kind of appropriate them in some way, or appropriate such, I haven't said that before, it's a word I'm really unhappy with, I can't find a better way of describing it, basically using things for your own use. And when I made this one, I was kind of, I ended up feeling more like that it was kind of inescapable, that I'd kind of been sort of subsumed by kind of brands and consumer. I mean, that sounds really clumsy, but there's is I sort of reached the kind of end point, and that was kind of the sort of finale to that kind of idea of that's a really clumsy introduction to the next thing I'm going to talk about, which is dub plate. Can we stop this now? Thanks. So like I say, all of this is kind of based around where I live in London, and I went out and made this record. I went out and recorded Soho, and wanted to make it into a record, which I ended up doing. I made it into this thing called the dub plate, which is like a kind of test pressing that sort of Jamaican sound systems use when they come up with a kind of a tune, and they want to kind of test it out. On an audience, they want to just spin it and see if it works. If it works, then they get it pressed into like a proper record. So I made this dub plate, and after making this dub plate, I decided that I needed a sound system to play the dub plate on. So I ended up making this sound system, because I've always admired sound systems just as kind of just for their kind of sculptural quality as well. So what I'm going to play now is dub plate. So this is a recording of walking around Soho for like a month, and it's kind of like a sort of, I don't know, like a stream of consciousness, just ideas that kind of came into my head, just sounds that kind of triggered off by what I saw walking around Soho. Basically, it's a very kind of like, it's this very small part of London that you get a lot of people from the suburbs coming to at the weekend, and they just come there to kind of destroy themselves, just to get fucked up on like beer and drugs and whatever else they can get hold of. And so everyone goes there to just like disappear and get obliterated. And I kind of wanted to make this record that was kind of sort of felt like that. So I'm going to play dub plate and then show you some slides of sound systems that I've made. Can we put the slides up?
Yeah, you have the remote control on
Right,
the top of the DVD player.
Oh, right.
The standby button.
And this CD, is that going to play? Just the CD on its own?
I have to just a moment please. I have to show the English now.
That's all right. Louder, yeah, sorry, louder.
Les gens puissent sur les escaliers. Tu sais, ils sont copains.
basically you go into a room with this sound system and this music's playing, this sound's playing with these huge bass bins. So it's really kind of like driven through the rib cage. It's really visceral sound. So that's dub plate. So that was played in a gallery. The first one you saw, the red one, was like kind of American one. It was played in New York. I made that for New York. And then there's 3 of them, and this is the last one. And what I ended up doing with this was, this is in Tate Britain in London, and I had this idea of putting the sound system against, originally I wanted to do it against like a Donald Judd, or equivalent kind of minimalist sculpture, and that proved too hard to do. So I was talking to the Tate, and I went and saw this, and this has been in the Tate for years. I remember this from the first time I went to the Tate, and it's by Jacob Epstein, who's a German immigrant to London, and it's Jacob and the Angels. This weird biblical tale about an angel wrestling with a man about God. It's not really that interesting in that one. But it's this strange kind of modernist sculpture, and I never understood it. I never knew what it meant, and it kind of represented kind of what I never understood about a lot of modernist works. It always baffled me. There was something really confusing and kind of not in an intentional way, but just I didn't understand its kind of intent. And so the idea was to have the sound system kind of ask the sculpture what the fuck it meant. So it was like a conversation between the two, and obviously that was kind of done. So I was just throwing these kind of sounds at the sculpture. It's made out of alabaster. It's like a very strange piece of work. And it was in the division hall, which is this huge, echoey, marble space at the Tate. So the sound just ricocheted everywhere. I'm going to show you a video of it. It kind of doesn't really convey how kind of weird the sound, how strange the sound was. We'll get some kind of idea. That's all right, no, I'm looking for video. Yeah.
Video now,
yeah. Sorry, it's very That it? That's it. Can we get some sound? So that's kind of what Donatella's sort of about. It's about kind of expressing that kind of energy. And I'm going to finish with a video that we made of Donatella, which is called Donatella. And this was our attempt to kind of like make something that might kind of appear on television at some point, but it never did. So I'm going to show you that. So this is a DVD again. what I was saying, which is basically, I think what I'm trying to get at is that with that it was all about, you know, it's about London where we live, so it's all about kind of a locality, and I think everything I do is about maintaining something that's kind of local, because I don't feel qualified to speak in any kind of international language, and I don't wish to. And when I say that actually that was made for TV, it's wrong. I always kind of forget that it's actually the only people I'm kind of interested in is kind of is like this audience. Do you know what I mean? It's like that's enough. It doesn't have to kind of go anywhere else apart from that. There's enough within. See, I'll start getting all kind of slightly thing, but that's kind of enough in itself. Is you know, the art world or this world that we're kind of contained in, and it's enough to just appeal to that and to kind of drive that forward. You know what I mean? Which doesn't mean any kind of insularity. It's just invested in the kind of energy, and that energy is kind of is enough in itself. That's a really clumsy way to end it. I think that's what I'm going to stop on. So that's it. Thank you very much.
Although it's late, we do want to watch you a little bit with questions and so on. Right. I don't know, but I would think so, since we've been waiting and everybody's happy that you're here showing things. Is there any spontaneous reaction, comment, question?
What are your most favorite films?
What are my most favourite films? What, ever? Ever. It's like really stupid ones. Like, it would be really, I think Blade Runner is probably my favourite film of all time, I think. If I just off the top of my head. Because there's something, I mean, every time I make something, I think of that. There's that piece in Blade Runner where he's going through a photograph. Remember that bit where he's kind of using that device to kind of magnify a photograph? And I think that's what I want, is that kind of like, that image machine that he's got, that ability to kind of like track into it and find kind of other elements in an image that are kind of been, that aren't revealed immediately, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's kind of, but also there's something very hazy and kind of and melancholic about Blade Runner that really appeals to me.
It's a bit of a pessimistic view of the future.
I think I have a kind of I undulate between pessimism and getting overexcited about potential future, you know what I mean? So, and I think that kind of film, you know, when he's talking about sort of, you know, rockets off the shoulder of a lion or whatever he says, when he does that kind of speech, I mean, that's, you know, there's something really kind of, there's something to look forward to in that, you know what I mean? There's something about, there's a potential there for like, for man, or whatever. I've been in an airport for 6 hours.
This piece that you did in your apartment, how you showed the gallery that piece?
Which one then?
How you did in your apartment?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And is there critic to the coolness of the gallery?
Is that what?
A critic to
A
the
critique?
Yeah.
No, I know what you mean. Not particularly. It's more that kind of.
How do you show that actually?
I just project it a big projection. No, it's because I mean the thing is I have the most problem with making work is my own kind of hipsterism. That's what I also really want to kind of defeat. That's what I most kind of despise about what I do. You know what I mean? I hate that. And I wish I would. It's a what? No, but you know, that's something I wish I could. Well, not a wish. That's something I kind of strive to kind of rid myself of. Is that kind of continual hipsterism. So I don't. In terms of like sort of gallerists, like middle class gallerists or whatever, seeing that, I don't care particularly what they think. It doesn't. It's not really for them. You know what I mean? No, well, my gallery sells it. Yeah, but my gallery I care about. I care what they think. I just don't care particularly what other people like. The different audience. That's what I was trying to say then. I don't.
You're not doing it for yourself. You're doing it for people.
Well, who's the people though? It's like who's the people? It's the people is like me and my friends and my gallery and that's it. And it's like it's a small family. It can kind of it can contract and grow as well. You know what I mean? There's no. That's what I was trying to say at the end of it. Really, I'm not interested in anyone particularly outside that. It's like but this is the point of the art club is that you come to places like this and show people your work, and if they get it, they get it, and it's like, and if you're on the same kind of wavelength, then that's interesting. If they're not, then I mean it sounds like I'm really simplifying it, but it's like I think there's something much more interesting in kind of approaching it that way than worrying about kind of an audience or an institution or kind of like because you're just making that stuff up anyway. Do you know what I mean? I've got no idea what middle class people think about my work. I don't know. So it's all conjecture anyway, isn't it? I don't know. I should start on that.
Is that somehow making videos or film?
Yeah. Yeah.
What is things you're doing now?
At the moment I'm doing sound and a kind of slideshow. I don't know. I had this point with the last thing I made where I got sick of images. I just got sick of kind of imagery. I got like kind of imagery sickness. And then also I couldn't kind of conjure up the same sensations about film that I used to have, which is that like films used to really make me kind of I get kind of slightly sickened by them. You know what I mean? They'd just be too powerful in some way, and I'd get too kind of I'd get this kind of nostalgic sickness about film, about watching it, and I kind of stopped feeling that, kind of rid myself of it. So at the moment I'm kind of glad that's kind of gone. So I don't know what I'm going to do after that. I mean, I'm kind of interested in sound and performance at the moment, and a bit of imagery and stuff in the back, but it's not clear. But the idea of doing live stuff is much more interesting at the moment than doing film. Yeah?
I was wondering about the shift between first and third film, which you described as I think you said you were interested in Europe, particularly in Europe. The first one is a bit like a new stuff based on found material, and then it's shifting to a rather staged and much more subjective direction. And I was wondering if you could say something about this problem of, representing or showing your own fascination for a milieu and the danger of voyeurism, and in what way are you involved in this, and in what way is that shown? And I was just thinking of like Very Dark, or and his films and how.
Well, I was a contemporary of them then, I wasn't.
Yeah, but
they weren't children.
Yeah, but the problem I'm addressing is like what. Because I have the impression it's not voyeuristic based at all.
Right.
And I was just wondering whether what you think about this problem. If it's a problem, how you push it.
Yeah.
Your own relationship.
I think that's kind of what it's it's about. It's that kind of. It's about that look. It is always. I mean, they're just. I mean, to me, they're just manifestly kind of like narcissistic pieces. You know what I mean? They're all. It's all me, but it's just in different guises. You know what I mean? And I guess it's that. Well, one, it's the kind of need to kind of know myself. You know what I mean? To know my kind of my involvement or my desire in kind of in those kind of images and what kind of excites me about them. Do you know what I mean? And two, it's also because of what I was just saying about keeping it local. It's like that I can't speak about anything except for my own desires. Do you know what I mean? I can't. All it is my subjectivity. I can't presume to speak on behalf of anyone else. Do you know what I mean? So it's like if you follow that tack when you're making a film, when you're shooting something, then you're already kind of lost in yourself. Do you know what I mean? There's like you have to kind of give yourself up to your desires and not have some kind of distance or disinterestedness about what you're looking at, because it's all about you. And so you're already kind of invested yourself in those images in the screen. Do you know what I mean? I mean, basically, I want to disappear into that screen. I want to merge. Yeah.
At least an attempt for this negotiated distance or of the participant, observer, acknowledgement. But in your case, it's fascination and
Yeah. Well, it's that
acknowledged fascination.
Yeah. And that look is always kind of like reflective, isn't it? In the most obvious way. It's that. I can't really say. Thanks.
I have maybe one question.
Yeah.
You're talking about your friends a lot. Is there people who were kind of growing up, or you just had some period of like researches on your own and then you met some researchers and you knew about I want to ask these friends about whom you are talking a lot. So these are the people with whom you are growing up, or you just met them on your way, or did you have some kind of your researches on your own and then kind of met these people?
I sort of met them along the way. as you do, it's like, it's kind of, you're looking to. I mean, in that second film, it's like.
It's a big question about the past.
Well, I guess it's like in that second film, in that when they're in my house, it's like that's my ideal. That's like a gang. It's kind of like an idealized set of friends. You know what I mean? And so I guess I've kind of sort of sought out people that I wanted to have a relationship with, you know what I mean? Just an obvious, but also like to build something. It's like it's not. It's difficult to find people who are kind of like want what you want. You know what I mean? Or want something kind of interesting. I'm not interested. I'm talking about myself here. I don't really understand the question too much. I'm talking about how I make friends with people. I sort of know what you're getting at, but I can't really answer it in any lucid way. Sorry.
I wanted to ask about, you talked about how you hate hipsterism and imagery, but you're also talking about how you're presenting your own desires.
Yeah.
It sort of seems like two poles. I'm just wondering how you navigate between that.
is. You know what I mean? That's all I'm kind of interested in. Is like how you get to find out what your desires are, what they need, which is kind of an impossible task.
Right.
I mean, you can't disabuse yourself of kind of mediated ideas. It's impossible. But you can kind of you can complicate it.
Yeah. This is what I thought was happening in the third film, is that we were showing kind of the desire of modern culture, is the shot of the street going by.
Yeah.
Immediately you see all the labels and sort of think, okay, this is a critique, but it also you're presenting very desirable images as well. I really like that, because you're showing both the sides of contemporary life.
Yeah. I'm a fully rounded human being.
How do you show that? How is it shown?
Just
projected or you have special?
They're all projected in a black room, yeah.
Because mine is work.
Yeah. Is that it?
Maybe there were more. Vielleicht gab es weitere Fragen. Wir wollten ja ursprünglich viel früher anfangen, keine kleine Wahl hier haben. Haben wir auch. We thought that it was going to happen much earlier. So we were all hoping that we would be able to go to the formal way of break here. Yeah. So if that's okay, then you just stay here and repeat the question. Or whatever. Thank you so much.
Es läuft immer noch.